All right, let's call the meeting to order. Okay, we'll start with roll call, and I'll start over here.
Cool. Isabel, Library Director, present.
Beth Coots.
This week's president.
Tiffany Brault, County Board Rep. Nancy Baird, member.
Rex Pierce, tennis coach, former professor, Gideon.
Doug Iverson, City Council member.
Travis School District member.
Excellent. Okay, first up we have approval for the meeting minutes from the August
And
12th.
I'd just like to say hello to the person that's helping us.
Oh, yes.
Your name again?
Nyla.
Thanks, Nyla, for helping.
Of course.
Awesome. Okay, so we want to approve the meeting minutes from the August 12th board meeting, the August 26th director evaluation committee meeting, and the August 28th budget committee meeting. So those meeting minutes are attached.
Yep.
And can I get a motion to approve?
And motion we approve meeting minutes.
I'll second it.
All right, excellent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Okay, I see that we don't have anybody here, but I will open it up for public comments. But I don't think with anybody attending, we have to worry about that, so we'll move on, but if, we'll reserve it in case somebody happens to talk in later. Okay, on to the director's report. I will turn it over to Nancy.
Perfect. We will start with statistics. In that first stapled packet, it is just like that last page on there. I will just pull it up on the screen. So we actually had, I think, more visitors this month than last month, 4,100 patron visits, almost 1,300 active card users, 446 questions asked, 790 total online users. Circulation took a little bit of a dip this month. And then what I want to call out here on our digital items right there is we actually tipped the scale into the over 20% digital usage this month, which is really interesting. Usually,
What item are we on right now?
yeah, so right under, where's my mouse at? I don't know where it is. It freaked out. Ah, okay. It's not showing up on there. Yeah, under circulation, 1,795 digital items. So we've surpassed into 24% mark. Usually,
Okay.
everybody's usually on the 80-20 line. So we have now branched over into overage
And is
into
that a
digital.
good thing?
It's just different. It does mean that we should be increasing our digital offerings. More people are using digital more than our physical right now. So that means we need to, like, when we look at our budget, like, we need to start allocating more money to digital things.
Do you think that's a trend that we're seeing throughout? Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely a trend we're seeing throughout. Nancy can
Yeah.
attest to this. And then that sub asterisk. So 53% of all digital checkouts are audiobooks, which is just a trend. So it's like, because CD players aren't in cars, they're not in computers anymore, like how are people listening to CDs anymore? So, and then like younger generations don't know what CDs are at all. It's just all streaming, like even DVDs, or we will probably start to see less and less DVDs being produced as well. But we haven't hit that metric yet. It's starting with audio. So, and then those are also the most expensive items to purchase digitally.
Naturally.
I mean, they've always been the most expensive, even when we were talking about the CD books.
DVDs
Yeah,
are the most expensive, or what?
DVDs?
What are the most expensive you?
Audiobooks.
Audiobooks.
Yeah, audiobooks are definitely the most expensive, physically or digitally. They're about 2 to 3 times more expensive than an e-book as opposed to e-audio. But that's also true in the physical.
And ebooks are not always cheap either.
No, yeah, and then there's a lot of different lending models that make them more expensive or less expensive. Like when you guys talked about Hoopla and how you had to get rid of it, that was probably one of the more expensive lending models, so, yeah.
So are we looking at other less costly?
We're trying, like the most used is definitely gonna be Libby Overdrive, which is what we use, and that's definitely the most cost effective as well. But we can definitely look at other vendors that are out there. It's just for ease of use, like everybody knows Libby Overdrive and everybody uses it. So if we can get in there better, that would just be better overall. We have started looking into getting our own personal our own Ripon Library Overdrive Advantage account, so that our patrons get priority, so the waiting lists decrease. And then the cost is, it's the same, we're just getting additional copies of it. But yeah, it's just something that we should be aware of and keep an eye on.
I should know this, but how would, on circulation 7,619, how would that compare with August last year?
With August last year, let me, mouse doesn't like not having a pad. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Maybe somebody knows off the top of your head.
I don't know this one off the top of my head. From August last year, it's more. Let me see if I can swivel this around. So, August of 24 was 6,104. So we had over 1,000 more circs this year in August than we did last year. Yeah.
It's helpful you were able to pull that right up. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Is that a good thing, you guys think? But,
Yeah.
But a lot of it's audiobooks.
So you're definitely seeing more use, so that's fantastic. I love to see that. I don't know. I want to dive deeper into like the actual stats of it and see what the breakdown is and really see what our trend is for digital material as well. And then meeting room use, we still had 101 meeting room reservations for community members, even though Silver Creek was closed for a full week due
I'm
to
impressed.
renovation work.
Yeah.
That's
So,
good.
yeah, that's still really impressive. And then for our programs, so during August, that's our downtime for our children's librarian, just because May, June, July are so crazy with summer reading, so she desperately needs a little bit of a break. So she still had only one youth program and there were 60 participants.
I thought that was very impressive.
Yeah, and so like that was actually a collaboration between us, Department of Parks and Recreation here in Ripon, and then also Envision. And so it was the We All Scream for Ice Cream event. It was really well attended and that was here at the library. It was a really great event. But yeah, and then all of this combined about a value of $74,000 this past month.
Yeah, can you tell me a little bit about the adult programs?
Sure. So the adult programs, because I know 2 of those were actually, I think one was memory care, so that only has like up to 10 or 14 people that can attend. And then 2 of them were, they're like showing you how to use your device.
Okay.
So we purposely limit how many people
How
can
many?
come to those
Okay.
because they're gonna have really specific questions. So that's again, only like up to 10 to 12 people can attend those. Once we get over that, it's like, we need a gym or a class, it's
Yeah.
too much.
Okay, that
And
makes
then the
sense.
last one was the first in a series of programs that we're doing about planning, like it's like estate planning, like planning for end of life. It's called Planning Ahead. So we're gonna have like weekly classes. There's like 6 weeks of classes for that.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Cool. Okay, so that is everything there, and then I'll keep my other comments pretty brief. So renovation progress, so we are still estimating that we're gonna close the front entrance and use the Jefferson Street side entrance, starting on about September 22nd. There still isn't a hard date on that. Everyone has been notified, like via Facebook and our newsletter, that it's closing on the 15th, because that was the last date that we had heard from our JM. But they're waiting on brick to be delivered so that they can then install a brick wall, and then they have to pour concrete and let it cure, and then we can close the main entrance. So right now we're kind of aiming for September 22nd, but that's not like a hard end-all be-all date. Painting is mostly complete in the new children's room, so if you pop in there, you'll see the bright pops of color in there, orange, blue, and green. Electrical and mechanical work, as well as tiling, will be over the course of the next 3 weeks over the children's room. Okay, and then other stuff, I'm still working on my own staff performance evaluations. Would you guess that it's really hard to evaluate people when you've known them for over a month?
No.
So working hard in doing that, giving like meaningful comments as best as I
Right.
can. Story time actually starts up again this week, so September 11th, 10 a.m. Story time is starting up again, so we'll see those children's program numbers go up again. Also this Saturday is Touch a Truck. So Linda and Susie have been planning on
I
bringing
wonder
their
what that is.
Yeah, September 13th is, so this coming Saturday.
So people are, can you tell me what that is? Just.
Touch a
I'm
truck?
curious.
Yeah. So it's a big thing.
I gathered
So-
that. I was like, how do I get in on this actually? Am I allowed
Because
to
they do
go?
touch trucks.
Yeah.
So like the police department, the fire department bring all of like the big
Oh.
machines over to like show the kids like all of the different
Out in the
vehicles.
lot here?
Hmm?
Where do they bring them to?
Oh shoot, it's one of the parks. I cannot remember.
Oh, it's probably,
Probably
Or-
Willow.
Yeah, you're
I think is
correct,
where it
it's
is.
yeah.
Mhm. So they bring all of that. Parks and Rec is going to be there with a bunch of different games. We're participating. We're bringing the romper room. We also 3 departments put in to share costs to have a strolling entertainer this year. We also have volunteers coming to be Bingo and Bluey for little kids.
Oh, fun.
And then we have Read with a Girl Scout as well. So
Excellent.
yeah, so it's a big, awesome event. We're really excited to do it.
Cool.
But it's a big push again. So Susie and I are attending there, and I'll be stopping by to say hi to everybody as well. So it'll be super, super fun. And then also I just wanted to give a shout out for trivia. We, myself and 2 other library staff members represented the library at library trivia last week at Roadhouse Pizza. We came in second out of 3 teams, so dead center, middle of the pack. And it's going to be coming up again in November.
Who was
so
on your
come
team?
Participate against the library team.
Excellent.
Yeah. So
Who was on your team?
it was myself, Robin, and Leah.
Oh.
We're all there that night. And then it's Susie's program, so we do a program over at Roadhouse Pizza. And there were like 17 people that attended that as well. So
Oh,
super
neat.
fun. A family of 4. It was like 2 parents and their 2 like young kids beat
Old
us.
school.
We got every
That's the members,
sports
obviously.
question wrong. So
Oh.
if anybody wants to join
I
the
know a little bit
library
about
team,
sports, so let me know.
coming up in November.
Are you the strolling?
I have, it's like the strolling entertainment as well. But you're the tennis coach, so you should know all things sports.
All things sports.
So you're gonna have,
Tennis.
okay, well, I'm sure a tennis question will come up. You're gonna have to
I'll
come
be
join the
ready.
trivia team.
And then just one last reminder for next week, September 17th through 20th, I'll be out in Albuquerque presenting at the Association of Small and Rural Libraries Association Conference that you guys approved last month.
Are you gone all week
So
for that?
I'll be out of the state.
Okay.
So send
we
me
can't
emails,
harass
I'll email you back.
Yeah.
except for Brett.
Well, we already got your phone number, so we'll be calling you.
Yeah, you can
don't
give
worry.
me text and call.
During
Yeah.
the time change, all right?
I can submit an expense for a trip to Albuquerque,
Albuquerque,
right? And just
yeah.
like, I got
Yeah,
a
just tag
fancy
along.
question and I can't wait.
I gotta go in person, it's necessary.
Sorry, statutorily, you get no compensation.
This job is beginning to suck.
I gotta give it back.
We can find a way to reset.
Okay, all right.
Alrighty, and then that is everything from me.
Okay, so let's just take a quick look at the financials. As I looked through them, I didn't see really anything that I felt the need to call out. Everything really was, the expenditures were exactly what I expected. I think I did have one question. That I was a little concerned about, but I'll get there, I will get into it.
Take your time.
I get nervous when I'm reading down here. So there was a contribution of $5,000.
Yes.
So who was that?
Yeah.
Oh, Andy. Aw. That's nice. I did not see the back of this when I scrolled through.
Oh, gotcha.
So I was wondering where that had come from.
Who did it?
Gotcha.
Andy Collins.
Oh, Andy did it?
Yeah. Well, you know Andy, probably from college, right? Okay.
Well, I know from he was the previous board president.
He was the previous board president,
A
yes.
while ago.
Oh, it's been a while. Andy used to be a bagger under me when I worked at Pick and Save.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so he was in high school. I've known Andy for a long time.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right, that's wonderful. So, there's really not much to kind of cover on these. Is there anything that any of you observed or want to talk about on any of these funds? Okay. Were there any unusual expenses or anything that may have been brought to your attention, Nancy, at all? Anything unusual that?
Nope,
Okay.
nothing unusual this month. I will say probably next month or the month after, we're starting to purchase like the new library staff equipment to bring everything back up and fresh for when we reopen. So library staff are also getting new computers. We currently have the oldest computers for public and for staff use in our system. Nancy's laughing because she knows it's true and she hears it all the time.
And
So-
the system, that's all of,
Yeah, so like the grant is covering all of the public computers, and then there is currently $12,000 sitting in our technology balance through the system. So we're gonna be allocating a bunch of that to getting us new equipment for staff as well.
any equipment besides computers you'll be getting?
It's just computers. It's like computers and maybe a couple of scanners, but beyond that, it's just the
Good.
basics.
Or you don't have the receipt,
What was that?
the receipt printers? You don't have?
Oh, we don't need new receipt printers. I think those were recently purchased like a year ago or something. We got one of the new sticky back,
But they won't work with Windows 11.
the receipt printers one.
We gotta get it all new,
Okay, I'm gonna
because
go
we
with that.
just got our new computers, but
Okay.
they only could put in 2. 'Cause we only-
Yeah. Okay, I'll talk to Ben about that. I did not know that. Thank you, Nancy.
Will all staff get new, or what, 4 or 5 staff get new computers?
So it's gonna be not all staff, because 3 of us got new computers at the end of last year.
Okay.
So myself, Linda, Susie all got new computers already. So Ben, Libby are getting new computers just for them that they can like transport anywhere in the building. So they're getting laptops. And then we're getting, the other new computers are going to be like the staff desktops that are upstairs at like the checkouts. Like the checkouts are getting new computers for that. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, we can talk about committee reports. So, let's start with the budget committee. We met, it was Doug and Tiffany and I and, who else? Nancy was there. Was there another person that was there?
Nope, it was just us.
Okay.
Milo was there.
It was a very small, so we were able to talk about, kind of the things that we see. Nancy explained to us that some things, there's an increase in prices, for some of the materials and things like that. And so, I think our budget is staying relatively flat. And Nancy, you want to talk a little bit about how, you're kind of filling that gap of when the physical materials are not going to be
Yeah.
available?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll also get into this a little bit more when we talk about the full budgets. But there is like this sheet with all the numbers and the highlights on it. So the very last thing on the back side, this little snippet on the back, talks about operational supplies, small equipment. Oh, I forgot to change it. It's supposed to be other equipment. So like we were just talking about like adult books on CD and adult CDs, we're actually just gonna be canceling that out. And so reallocating that $2,700 to digital materials. So that's part of why it jumped so much from 6,000 to 10,000. So 2,700 of it is coming from other materials already. But then 2/3 of our collection during the next 6 months will be put in basically storage. So we need to allocate other ways for people to access the materials without having to go to a different library in our system. So the easiest way to do that is maybe digital materials, but they are more expensive than physical. If you could allocate more money that way, that would be fantastic, just to keep access.
Okay,
Hmm.
yes,
Did we talk to Adam about the maintenance person?
oh yeah.
Did that kind of blew
So
our
it got
budget?
brought up at the department head meeting, last week a little bit. Yeah, it's pretty much exactly as it's written in the document. He says that like even on the city side, they're probably going to look to hire just a part-time person. Because even splitting the cost between DPW and us, like an $80,000 to $100,000 cost between the two of us, it's gonna be such a big ask. Yeah, so even on DPW's end, it's not totally realistic. he
So we're
thinks.
staying as is with that,
Yeah,
okay.
so it's still on here for everybody to discuss and decide if
And as
that's
is.
something.
As is what, relying on the
It
city?
would be, we would be staying with a part-time 22 hour per week maintenance custodian who's dedicated to this building. The MOU that will it'll come up later on the agenda. Basically, the big difference is that we would like cost share a full-time custodian maintenance person that would handle this building as well as another city building. Either that's the new DPW facility or city hall, whatever it is. But it's just, so right now we basically allocate like $22,000 to that current custodian worker. If we hired a full-time worker and split the cost, it would be $40,000 to $50,000 instead of 20 for us. So we would have to,
Every year.
yeah, and it would increase every year, just like everybody else's wages. Yeah. So just the benefits would be the big breakdown for us. It's just so incredibly costly once you hit that full-time mark because of the benefits.
Yeah, I understand the reasoning, but
Yeah.
it's not like it's a couple of thousand over, it's a
Right.
lot
Yeah.
over.
It's a lot. Yeah.
It's like 40,000 over.
Yeah, so it's definitely something that I think Adam, myself, and Alan will continue to talk about and have the board talk about and think about in the future and like work towards. But as for like this budgetary season, I don't think it's really
It's
doable.
quite a few years out, I think.
Yeah, yeah, but
Okay.
just getting it on everybody's radar, I think, is a good thing. So.
Doug, did you have anything else?
Nothing else. Thank
Okay.
you, Lisa.
Yep, all right. And then for the director's evaluation committee, we will move into closed session. I just need a motion to do that.
I move that we look at the director's evaluation closed session.
I'll second.
Okay. The library board will convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute, section 1985, subsection 1, subsection C, for discussion of the library director's performance evaluation. We are back into open session. We can move on to action items. The first one is to vote to approve the pay application AIA G702 for period 8/27/25. That, I'm assuming, is the contractor's payment. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Like-
so it's basically just like reimbursement for all of the work that has happened up to August 22nd.
Okay. If you want to take a look at the application and certification for payment,
Is that the $105,000?
it is.
Yes.
Yep,
$931.65?
correct.
I'll make a motion to pay that $105,931.65 to, what was that, PRA?
Yep.
PRA.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is carried. The next item we have is vote on revised memorandum of understanding between the city of Ripon and the Ripon Public Library. So let's take a look at what this is. So was this, help me understand, Nancy, is this the,
So this is basically the document that we were talking about before, where we would be, like the big change between this memorandum of understanding and the other MOU is the add-on of job sharing for a full-time maintenance person.
okay,
Who
so
would be under the purview of DPW.
this does not include that.
This
right?
one does. So the one that we have previously approved does not have that. This one would include that.
I see. So this is the one that would cost us the approximately $40,000.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So I don't know if we want to have more discussion about that or what we discussed before. It doesn't sound like we want to do that. We don't really have room in the budget to add, $40,000 plus. Does anyone want to make a motion to accept this, or what do we just?
You can make a motion to approve or disapprove or
Okay.
postpone
We could just table
or
it.
just say nothing.
We will table this unless I have any
Well,
objections.
we don't maybe want to say table it, but
Okay, let's not
maybe
say.
we'll just not take any action on it.
Okay,
Yeah, take
We
no
will let
action
this
or
die.
further
Action on it.
discussion needed, whichever.
Yeah.
okay. Okay, and the next item is vote on City of Ripon pay for performance wage schedule. If you recall, this is a change from the three-step system that we previously were using here at the library. We want to move to the City of Ripon's pay-for-performance wage schedule in order to be more in alignment with how the city typically pays their staff. So on this handout here, the first page tells us what those steps are, and that was what we had in 2024, or we voted on in 2024. And then the next page shows how the city does it. So you'll see the range for the library director, the low control range up to the max control range. And that is the system that we would be moving to if we choose to vote that way. Any comments? Questions?
We discussed this before, right?
We have discussed this before, yes. If there are no comments, can I get a motion to vote, a motion to accept the change?
I'll make a motion to accept the change of the City of Ripon pay for performance wage schedule.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion is carried. And then we have, the next item is the draft of the 2026 budget. Nancy, would you like to explain a little bit what the budget looks like?
Sure.
Please.
Okay. So the budget, I have two sheets here. So the first one is basically the breakdown at a glance of all the expenses. Kind of just broke down into the line items. And then the other sheet that is like red and green highlighted is more like specifically in depth on those lines. So some of these have slight increases, none of the increases, sorry, not none of the increases. The majority of the increases for our budgeted expenditures, which are on the specific line item sheet, basically only go up to like 2.4, 2.5 increase across the board, if that. The majority of them are staying flat. So the ones that need to be increased, otherwise we will need to basically cut services in some way, shape, or form, are like publications, dues, and subscriptions. Social media archiving is actually $100 more expensive already for this year. So we budgeted $500 for that last year for this incoming year, so we're already underwater on that. Constant Contact is how we send out our monthly newsletter. That is highly subsidized by Winnefox Library System. They actually take on the bulk of that payment to make that possible for us. It will be increasing to $200 next year. Magazines and newspaper subscriptions are so incredibly expensive now. There are less of them that are available, and then they're more expensive than they've ever been. Yes.
Just to interrupt briefly about
Yeah.
the magazine subscriptions, is there a way to track to see how many people are actually sitting and reading them?
I was gonna go there.
Because if no one's, I mean, I
Yeah.
sometimes sit and look at the Wisconsin Historical Society one, I think I got it right, because it's
Yeah.
very informative and I really like the writing in it. But, I mean, do we know? Is there a way to track that?
There isn't a metric. There isn't like a surefire, because it doesn't circulate per se, it's more people come in and read it. I will say that newspaper readers and magazine readers are your most vocal. So when
So please don't knock me.
when the New York Times doesn't show up for a week, we hear about it at the front desk.
So is there a way in which we can have a survey?
We can definitely put out a survey and ask.
Ask patrons, what magazines do you read?
Mhm.
Do you read them? Do you look at the newspaper? I mean, sometimes I look at the newspaper,
Yeah.
you know? I
Yeah.
come in, I'll look at it, I'll peruse it, but it's not maybe super regular. The
Mhm.
magazines are kind of iffy. If
Yeah.
there's not one that I like,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna look at it, but like I said, the Wisconsin Historical one is very informative, I like reading that. But if there is a way we could track it, because in the old days, they were cheap, but these aren't the old days anymore, these are the new days,
Mhm.
and they're probably really pricey.
They're
especially
really
for what you
pricey.
get.
Yeah,
And these aren't digital, are they? They're like the actual hard copy.
they're the actual hard copies. Some of the hard copies come with a digital subscription as well, but like that's not really open to the public because you would have to create like a one online account, so they wouldn't have access to it anyway. We have other avenues for digital magazine subscriptions. What was that?
Libby.
Libby has magazines as well, but like the Libby access for magazines is so much less compared to any other checkout, like books, audiobooks, even like TV shows.
Would it be helpful over, say, a month to have people mark down when they read something, just
Yeah.
for 1 month to track it, or
Yeah, we could definitely do that. Mm-hmm.
have someone kind of keep track, monitor?
Just kind of track it for maybe a couple of months, I don't
Yeah.
know. I like to see the trend in people reading it,
Mm-hmm.
so if we drop something and 6 months later they're complaining, but we've dropped it for 6 months,
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
how much is the magazine subscriptions? I didn't see.
So the magazines, this cost is actually after cutting,
Right,
I think, 10 magazines. This will be cutting 10 magazine subscriptions, and that'll be, the magazines we can track, those like check out and circulate. So these will be cutting like the 10 lowest circulating magazine copies. They're just wildly more expensive than these.
how much is it, one individually, can you give me a couple examples individually?
Yeah, so it depends on the magazine, but let me pull up, I have a document, I think. So I
Like
can give
those?
you a specific, but I mean, so across the board from magazines and newspapers, we currently have about 109 subscriptions that we do.
Like New York Times, how
So-
much would that be?
New York Times is wildly expensive. New York Times is $500 to $700 a
I
year,
was gonna say it's probably.
because it's the newspaper and magazine combined.
And what's the publications that you like to read?
The one, I see we have a dues for the Wisconsin Historical Society. How much is their magazine?
Which one?
The Wisconsin Historical Society.
I think it's like $20 or something. Let me.
For the hard copy, that's really inexpensive. Of course, it's only 4 times a year, I think.
It's 4 times a year, and it's a local, like, Wisconsin specific.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Where is
Do we get Wall Street Journal?
we don't get Wall Street Journal. That one is even more expensive. Wall Street Journal is $900 a year.
Yeah.
That is bananas.
Yeah. We had that at Shawano and I had to drop it. They're also really terrible about consistent delivery. So they'll go like months without delivering a paper. I called them at Shawano and they're like, you don't have an account. And I have the paper in my hands. So it's
Not
just
worth it.
crazy. Yeah, I have a full listing somewhere. I wish I could pull it up right now. It's just trying to pull it up at this time.
There goes your review now.
I know. Oh shoot! All the nice things that Chuck ever said.
You know, it says right here, newspaper subscriptions, $1,500, and it's going up to what, $1,800?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can we like track, and can we look at the most expensive ones there and see if anybody's actually reading them on a consistent basis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
We can definitely look into that.
I guess my other question is, has there been any conversation like within Winnifox with other libraries about, like, if stuff is like boosting in price like crazy, are other libraries coming up with any kind of
Uh-huh.
ideas?
Green Lake get Wall Street and we get New York Times.
Can we all
Oh,
share the
share them.
subscription and circulate it in the
Yeah.
library system?
Well,
Since that's what we do with everything else.
Right?
but
Yeah.
yeah, like, I don't
I
know,
think
like, is
this is-
Winnifox interested in helping cover any
Yeah.
costs to
Good
keep
question.
this available for
Yeah.
patrons that want
I
this
think that
service?
this is definitely something that everybody is just struggling
Yeah.
with. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
that
if we
there's
could
any
track
solution
it-
beyond cutting
Track
stuff.
some of this stuff for a month, see who's reading what. That
Mhm.
might give us a better idea.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, like, on the chopping block, I think, like, New York Times is one of those that we're probably going to
I'd be in favor of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
I mean, it's one of the most expensive ones. I mean, the other most expensive one, just off the top of my head, is probably the Oshkosh Northwestern, actually.
Yeah.
I just got an invoice for that. It was $430 for next year, just for the Oshkosh Northwestern. And that's like just the base. They do like special edition ones, which are like $100 for a month.
Paper is only like a page and a half long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I don't know, might be
Yes.
looking at some of the publications to see if
Can we get an
can-
is there an online subscription for some of these newspapers that the public can read? Is that cheaper or
Not
probably
that's,
not?
not that's like publicly accessible, because they, even our newspaper subscription, they treat us as an individual, yeah.
Well, that's on them.
Yeah. But I am open to suggestions if anybody has them. I just haven't found any,
So that's-
other than either increasing to maintain what we have, or we can keep the budget as it is and we'll have to cut some more stuff.
There's probably some publications we just don't need any.
Yeah. I mean, we are already cutting like at least 10 magazines,
How
even just
many
keeping.
magazine subscriptions do we have total?
So we have, I think we have about 100 magazine subscriptions currently, like active this year. Per the state guidelines, we can go down to like newspaper, magazine, publication subscriptions down to 88 and be at the very lowest tier. But like we're already going to be cutting 10. Or like I have it cut down to 91, and that's this number.
Okay.
So what I would like to look at also, we're talking about cutting. What is the level for the rest of Win Fox for their subscriptions? I'd be interested in knowing if they're toward the bottom too, because I kind of think this is a problem.
Yeah.
That there's no money for this, and I think that a lot of libraries, our size, smaller, even I think Fond du Lac's got to be looking at, is anybody looking at this? Can we use that money for something else? Because that money isn't getting any bigger. You know, the state isn't giving us any more, and we have to do this on our own back, so. I mean, so can we just figure out, like, our peer libraries in the system, or just in general, whereas everybody else doing, they're cutting too? I'd be interested in knowing, because I can't believe it's just us.
No.
Well, the thing is like for publications, dues and subscriptions, we are actually, this might be our highest tier allocation in the state report. So our current allocation at 109 is so far, it's like we're in the highest tier currently. So like when we cut down to the lowest at 88, like it just seems really aggressive because we're in the highest right now, but we have so much allocated to publications. So, but because the prices have increased so much just this past year, probably the last three to 5 years really, it's been upticking significantly. That's why the number looks crazy. So like even when we cut to 88, like that's keeping us flat at this year's number. But if we want to like maintain what we currently have, we need to increase just because the prices have increased.
Okay, just, thanks.
Okay. And then kind of the same story for operational supplies and small equipment, the real line item 53400. We purchase a lot of stuff. We try to get the lowest prices across the board from if it's a actual book vendor or if it's like Amazon. Prices have just increased so much over the course of the last few years. So we pretty much use Demco for our book processing materials. So all of those line items have kind of gone up by about $100 online. The only outliers would be library cards. Which I put in our regular order of 1,500 cards for the year. The price of that was almost $900 just for our regular cards. We go through customcard.com has been the vendor we've been using.
Charlie per card, because
It's like,
very steep.
does that seem steep to you? Who do you guys use?
Lucas card.
Lucas card? Absolutely. Um,
And I usually order 10,000 cards
You order
every
10,000
3
cards.
years.
That might be
And
why
last
too.
order was 13 cents per card,
Yeah,
but that was in 2020.
Because your circulation is needed.
it's way higher.
Yeah.
It's way higher than us. They're bigger than us. Yeah, I think we've been stuck into buying 1,500 at a time because we're hamstrung by our own budget. We can't buy 3 years of material all at once. Yeah, I think it's
Check on the per
I
card.
think it's like 20 something cents per card right now. I'm hoping to look at different card options next year when we do like, because the new renovation will be complete during Library Card Sign-Up Month in September. So if we actually revamp our card and get a new one, since we're gonna need to order new ones anyway, it'll be really fun and really great. But yeah, I can look at different vendors and things like that. I know I had asked Claire Ellen Summersmith, the director of Winnabox, for other vendor options as well. But because it's my first time, I was like, I'm gonna order with who we've been going with because we know what the product
That
is.
makes sense. I mean, you have enough on your plate to
Yeah.
have to try and switch
We
a
also,
vendor.
because of like the changing in director, nobody noticed that we had no library cards left. So I laminated sheets of paper and barcoded them, and we gave them out as special edition library cards for the week.
Nice.
And like trade it into us when you come back and get a real card because we ran out for a week and a half.
Gosh.
Yeah, so I had to like put in a rush order. It was crazy.
Here.
Okay, so are there any changes that we want to make to the budget, or are we comfortable with how it is?
Trying to find the membership for staff,
Okay,
so the $300 or whatever.
okay,
So I think we can find it, we'll have to like move things around a little bit. And
Yeah.
we can add that in to 53,200 publications, dues and subscriptions.
okay.
I think that might be the place to put it,
Yeah.
not
Mhm.
entirely certain about that, but that's where I'd like to see that go, or
Okay.
something like that, because I think we should be paying for that.
The Rotary?
Yeah, the Rotary, yeah.
Mhm.
Would like to, I personally would like to see another staff member too, but
Mhm.
we got what we got, so, you
Yeah.
know, we'll do one this year and we'll see how we can find money for it.
Definitely put that in
Okay.
our discussions for next
Yeah.
year.
And then just looking, so back on the full draft budget sheet, I do wanna call attention to, I did not pull this for the budget committee because I forgot about it, because it's new, start as of January this year, where we are paying for the copier, scanner, printer.
Yeah,
So that's about $2,400 a year
okay,
just for that line item. So
Right.
that was not included on the budget committee numbers, because
Okay.
I ran the numbers again and was like, oh yeah, we paid for this now.
right.
So that is a new thing as of this year, so that would be increasing there.
Thank you.
And then also just looking at the full, like the salaries and all the numbers. So now that the change to the pay for performance plan that the city matches has been approved. So the 2.8% cost of living adjustment, so that $266,000 number, these numbers are based on what we just approved, the 2.8%. So that is not giving anyone an actual pay for performance increase at all. So we are, $12,000 more in full-time salaries, part-time salaries is another 11, and then everything else is also going to increase because of just regular cost of living. So if we want to put in any wiggle room to actually give a pay for performance increase to some of the staff that have been really pulling the library for the past year, that number will need to be higher than 266, 146.
Yeah.
So we'll need to find some more movement in the budget. Lisa, do we need another budget committee?
I think we're probably gonna have to have another
So
budget
what
committee.
do you, why don't you send something out and we'll pick out a date?
Sounds good.
Okay.
So let's table the vote on the draft budget until we have another committee meeting. If I need to, Doug, maybe you can answer this, when do we have to have the draft budget to the city?
I'm not sure. Adam did have that set out last council meeting. We have a council meeting tonight at 7.
Can you find that out and just let me
Yeah,
know?
I'll let you know. I'll
Okay.
make a note of that. I know we talked about it a couple weeks ago when everything was gonna be put to bed. So I'm thinking we need probably need to have that within another week or 10 days.
Okay, so we may need to have a quick meeting to
Maybe-
vote on that.
Maybe next week,
Yeah, I think we can.
just to try to like get this ours to bed so it fits in what we're getting so that
Yeah.
if there's something that comes up, we can massage it or the numbers and get things to work out.
Yep,
Good.
that sounds good, okay. Travis, do you wanna leave, or I can finish, are there any other agenda items for future board meetings, or is there something that you needed to add, and that's why that was on there, okay?
Nope.
Anything
I just
else?
wanted it on there because there wasn't a mechanism for anybody else to
To
add to it.
add stuff, yeah, that's a good idea, okay. All right, then can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Second right here.
Thank you,
We
everyone.
haven't voted yet. We haven't voted.
Oh, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? We are adjourned.
Thank you.